For better or worse, it seems like the Wachowskis will always be typecast as the duo that created The Matrix. And while their later works have divided fans, their debut feature Bound seems to be that one that people at least know about, but they have yet to see. Well, we're here to say that you owe it to yourself to check out Bound and then join in on the conversation. Welcome to Debt to Cinema. I'm Stephen Maltmanex.
And I'm Brian Gillis. Like most people, we love going to the theater and catching the latest releases. However, we can sadly put a big dent in our wallet.
Fortunately, living in the digital age makes the viewing possibilities endless from the comforts of home.
Many of these films that you can see right from your couch, we're ashamed to say we miss, despite labeling ourselves cinephiles.
So join us as one or both of us cross off a title from our list of shame.
It can be an all-time central classic,
Or an underrated piece of cinema that's worth giving a shot.
hell, it might just be some trashy film we want the other's opinion on. So sit tight and join us as we pay off our debts, $1 at a time. So, first off, before we even begin this review, I saw this movie recently. November, in fact. Like, right after Thanksgiving. You can hear my review already. It's in 2 cents, episode 23, $dollar Makes Sense. The final episode, 2 cents, which had our mini reviews at the end.
Good
I
luck
think it's
finding it, because we don't have timestamps for those. I mean, that's
It's
like,
like
you
an-
gotta dig really
It's an
into that.
hour and 40 minutes in. I found it
Uh-huh.
on my own. It's in between Tangerine and True Story, and it was like I did a lesbo double feature or something, even though one's transgender and one's lesbian, and that's a great segue because this is written and directed by the Wachowski brothers, which is not a thing anymore. They're both trans women now, and it brings a lot more to the conversation. It's a pretty interesting debut.
It does, but not so much for me. I mean, all that, just for the conversation, all that does for me is just kind of say, yeah, that's there, but the credit still says the Wachowski brothers at the end. I mean, here's the thing. Just excluding all that, because, yeah, that's going to be more of a thing, I think, just going forward of the work that they put out now, that I'll look at it more through that lens of the type of filmmakers that they are. But going back, honestly, looking at all their movies, because now I have seen their complete filmography, and everything that they've done, like, always goes above and beyond. Like, they're always ambitious as hell. Like, this goes for everything. You know, Matrix, the sequels, obviously, Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, Jupiter Ascending. And they're always just trying to give viewers something new, whether you like it or not, whether or not you, quote, get it. They do it, and they can do that. Everything after Bound is at $100 million plus budget. That's fucking incredible that we have filmmakers that are able to do that are true auteurs. And honestly, I think maybe it's just because nothing has been as groundbreaking as The Matrix, at least for a mass audience, that I think they're really, really underrated now. I mean,
You're not into Channing Tatum with fox ears skating around
I'm
on the
gonna have to see that
skies?
again. No, I did enjoy it, but I do think, with there's so many people actually out there that really, really love that movie, that have gotten more out of it on repeat viewings. So
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
Yeah.
like I mean, outside of the plot problems and Freddie Redmayne doing his weirdest
I actually
acting.
enjoyed that, just him going over the top. But I like it when villains go over the top
Yeah,
and just ham it
to
up.
an extent.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it in the way that I liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot. Like, it had a
No, but
similar
I
kind
mean-
of just fun action, like, don't think too much, but then it also had a lot to think about in a
Yeah.
story that wasn't entirely put out. But this isn't about their later films. This is about their
No.
first one.
No,
this
but I
is
mean,
about
I'm
you
still-
wanting to see them get tied up and bound together, I
Uh-huh.
guess, which
I-
doesn't happen.
Mhm.
which
But
is
I mean,
sad.
just I guess, God damn it, I was on a roll and you interrupted me. Shit.
Sorry.
Well,
I mean,
no,
I'll go back
okay,
to what I said.
basically. No,
Uh-huh.
here's the thing. I was gonna end this with saying, holy shit, this is one of the top 3 best debuts I have ever seen of any movie, or not from any filmmaker. Like I seriously will go that far. Like holy, this is so confidently made. It's beautifully shot. There's a very very great Hitchcock feel throughout. Like it's got the great dark humor that's along the lines of some like the Coen brothers. I mean, this also has the same crew that they were going to have on The Matrix later, but this is $6 million, and it's really small, and it feels so much bigger than it really is, even given that most of it takes place in one room. Like, holy shit, is this a really entertaining movie?
I'm gonna ask you 10 times. Why'd you make me watch this one again? You only get 10 questions. See?
Because I don't give a shit about you, Brian. I wanted to watch it. That's why I just wanted to
How
watch it for myself, and I'm
how
really
did you
glad I
watch
did.
this?
Alamo Drafthouse. That is another
Okay,
thing,
see,
is that this is a great audience movie. I mean, there were so many people there that did not see it for the first, or they were seeing it for the first time. So it was really fresh for everyone, and this still plays for a crowd. I mean, I unfortunately I was gonna plug this in as it being on Netflix, but I don't think it's on there
It's
anymore
not on
now.
Netflix. No, it's
But
on YouTube. It's
yeah, I mean,
part of the Paramount Vault. Anyone can watch
all
this
right.
for free among lots and lots of other stuff that Paramount's put on there, including like He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Paris When It Sizzles, lots of classics. But this is probably the standout. It only has like 600,000 views. It's way below where it should be.
Oh well, there you
And
go. I mean, but it just this was basically only known as that movie. That's just like, oh, that's the debut film from the Matrix guys, or well, now siblings, or now sisters.
I
Just that
think it will
debut
get.
film that people know about but they haven't seen. Holy shit! Like seriously, this is just such a fun movie. Like, I mean, are you there with me at all? Because
I
I kind of was really blown away by this.
No, I really loved it the first time, but I think
The
I saw
second
it too.
time now, it's like,
I've seen it too soon. Like I said, I really did not want to watch this one again. I saw it less than 7 months ago. It doesn't matter what movie it is. That's, roughly the home video time frame. It's like I saw it in theaters and I rushed out and rented it again. This film doesn't deserve that viewing, despite it being really good. It is a good Hitchcockian thriller. It is a great erotic thriller. I love
and
neo
just
noir. It's just
I,
I would have preferred waiting, like a year or so more.
okay,
Like
but that's not.
Near Dark was a bigger window than I thought it was. It was okay.
Mhm.
I enjoyed that rewatch. This one, it was kind of like a chore to sit through it again because I knew exactly what was going to happen. There weren't any surprises, and the sex scene was still really great.
Oh
But
yeah, no, I mean
uh,
almost every moment in execution, and like I know you're joking a little bit, but like that
no, I'm
line,
not joking.
the
I'm
10 times
serious.
line, like there's so many little like for things that the mob do in movies, especially like just there are so many. That's a thing in movies like that where they put you in a very very horrifying situation, and there's torture in there, but just the build up, just that line, like I'm gonna ask you 10 times, then they have those clippers, and just as an audience member, you're just kind of sitting there, just anticipating it, like just squirming, like as it's about to happen. I mean, just the way that that's built up, like that, just Joe Pantoliano's thing in there, that
I thought his name
so
was
fucked
Joey
up.
Pants.
Yeah, Joey Pants. I don't know is it Pantoliano or Pantolano? I've
You
never
said it
even
right the first
looked at the
time.
spelling of the name. Pantoliano.
This is the second time he's been in one
Yeah.
of our movies on this show.
Well, for the purposes of this review, I'm just gonna call him Joey Pants.
Joey Pants. I do like that. He does talk about his pants a lot on this one. He's also featured in Daredevil Director's Cut, which you have an episode
Hmm.
for. Um, I really like him in this movie. I mean,
Oh
it's
my
kind of
god, he's fucking
obvious.
great.
It's obvious why the Wachowskis threw him in The Matrix and how big of a role he has in that first one. Like, Agent
Hmm.
Smith is not the bad guy in the first one. It is him. 100%. What's his character's name again? Cypher?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so great in that first
No, I mean,
movie.
and just the way that they dispose of him, both in this and in Matrix, so great. Like those are just
Yeah,
two great one-liners, and like I really like that's the thing. On repeat viewings of Matrix, that's always hit me. Of like I've always loved that line, but it never hit me like the first time. And this movie did that, where just that line, like you don't know shit, Caesar. I was just kind of like, holy fuck, that is awesome.
You
Just
know
that's an
nothing,
awesome
Jon
way to.
Snow.
Joey Pants though just goes full on insane in this. Like,
Fuck Joey
I'm
Pants.
dead. I'm a dead man, Johnny. Who's dead? I am.
Let's talk about
Fuck you,
Corky
Johnny.
and Violet. Corky and Violet forever.
Hmm.
Gina Gershwin and Jennifer Tilly. So hot.
You just can't look
It's
away
really
from Jennifer Tilly. Like not a
It's
single
really a
frame.
shame that the both of them kind of disappeared from Hollywood. I mean, Jennifer Tilly, she did the Bride of Chucky and its
Hmm.
sequels. That's kind of what she's known for now. And she was in a couple things before this. Uh, I don't know, maybe she just got tired of Hollywood, but same goes for Gina Gershwin. Like, the only thing I can really think of her in is Showgirls. But between this and Showgirls, that's a great body of work. And they have great bodies. And that's a big draw for this movie. As I said earlier, to see that sex scene. And before that even happens, the first real image you get in this movie is the female gaze,
Hmm.
which is, it kind of just, from the get go, in that elevator, you already know it's going to be a movie dissimilar to anything you've already seen before. Because there is no male gaze here.
Yeah,
Like,
and
yeah,
that's the thing.
it's
That,
still the same camera, but the fact that it's a woman and you're looking at through her eyes, and that music you get, that like smooth
mhm.
jazz throughout most of it anyway, you're like, this is really hot. I don't know why, but it is.
No, I mean, yeah, it's just the way that they dress her and like the way that Jennifer Tilly is shot. I mean, it just you
Hmm.
really can't look away. You really can. I mean, but yeah, you just said it. Like there is that feeling, especially in 1996, like that this feels very new and different. That's something that's true of like just all the Wachowskis' work, and yet, I guess also now in real life, since those are the two biggest transgender filmmakers out there, and now like at first you kind of look at it as like, oh, they're new and different. But I don't know about you. Like when the first time that I saw Lana or just heard Lana speak was when they did that intro for that Cloud Atlas trailer, and then there's just that moment of like, oh, okay, so that's new. And now every time that you see her talk or say anything, it's just kind of like, okay, that's Lana. Like that's no big deal. That
I have not seen her speak.
oh, never.
I no. I most
No,
filmmakers
you've
I
seen
don't.
Side by Side, haven't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
So
most
I mean,
filmmakers
no, they've been.
I don't watch interviews or anything for. It's just like I know them by their body of work and I kind of judge them on that. I don't try to get into their social lives
No,
or
I mean,
personal stuff.
it's not. I don't know. I don't know about their personal stuff, but when they're talking about movies or just when they're being interviewed doing press tours,
Hmm.
like stuff like that, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, they're just talking about it. So I mean, for this, I imagine it'd be pretty polarizing, and even in the theater today, because you just still don't see this that much, but it's just one thing that it takes you to like get over, just stop thinking about it as soon as the main plot gets going. It's just kind of like, okay, these are just two characters that are in a relationship. There's no social agenda here. It's just that they love each
Well,
other, that they want to run away together, and then you're with them the whole way. That's a big part of why this still holds up 20 years later, is that there is no social message in there at all. It's just
there
it's
might be now, though. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the LGBTQ community
mhm.
was, very supportive of this when it came out and probably still is. But I have to imagine what's gone on in the filmmakers' personal lives over the last couple of years, that it must, if it already hasn't, get like just more acclaim or more notoriety. Like I said, I can't believe it
Mhm.
only has so many views on YouTube when it's free. Like if I was, I can't think of all the social media accounts for all of the queer communities, especially just filmic communities out there, that they haven't blasted this thing going, check this out. Did you know that these transgendered sisters made this first before they made all these blockbusters that are about machismo and the male body, and Neo's the one, like before Neo there's neo noir, and like that's what this is.
I mean, I don't know.
And
For me, I like I said, I just don't think it changes how I see the movie. All it
no, I'm not
says
saying it
is, yeah.
changes it. I'm just saying
I know
I
for a
can't
lot of
believe
people,
there
like,
hasn't been like a resurgence, or not even just resurgence, but I don't understand how this isn't more popular. It's like you said, like
no,
this is
seriously,
known
yeah.
as the Wachowski siblings' first film. It's like what they did before The Matrix.
I know. It's just
In
like,
today's day and age, it should be like
I mean, it's a very,
amplified.
it should, like, I'm sure Netflix would have gotten this a lot of notoriety, but I've always seen it in people's queues. It's not one of those things that they pick when they're like, oh, I just want to sit down and watch a movie. You're the only other person I know that has seen this movie. So, it's kind of a shame that we're not
It's
doing this at the same time, but
I kind of said on Two Cents, the reason I picked it initially, I mean, I did know it was a lesbian love story, but
mhm.
I thought there was an S&M like plot device. The picture that they had on Netflix, it was them in rope. The movie's called Bound. I was like, okay, hot. And you do get that like S&M moment where like they're tied up, but it has, that's just like something that happens in a movie. It doesn't have anything to do with BDSM lifestyles. If that was all together, if it was like BDSM and a queer cinema, it would be like over the top. Like you have to watch this, and it still is really great. Just like a funny side note, when I searched for this on YouTube and I typed in Bound, it popped up, and then the second thing was Bound 2 by Kanye. And I was like, is that the
Because of
sequel
course it
now?
would be, right?
Yeah, I was like, is
Yeah.
that the sequel now?
No, I mean, it's funny. Yeah, this is the first time I saw this, but it's funny. I don't, if it wasn't for this screening, I don't think I would have rushed out to see it unless, because, no one has talked about it. It's just, I don't have anyone to go to tell me, hey, you should
Which
see
is
this. It's
weird.
worth your time. I mean, yeah, as soon as, I was so glad I was in a packed screening too. Like, I was in the ideal environment to watch this movie. And, like, just, that's a great way to experience this movie for the first time. Like, it's such a bummer that so many people won't get that.
Well, fuck you. I enjoyed my at home in the dark late at night screening.
Hey,
I
no,
mean,
I'm
that's
I'm
just
happy
as
that you had a
good.
good one. If that's good for
I
you.
think
No,
this is.
I'm just very very happy with what I
Uh,
got, and it was an experience I was able to share with a crowd for a movie that is, it like when you're in a packed audience and it's a movie that very few people have seen. It kind of like there is that part that just feels good of like, okay, there were people on this planet that were able to appreciate this at the same time as me, and that was awesome.
yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I am jealous that you got to see the tits on the big screen,
Hmm.
as you get to see two really nice, good like pairs. And it's funny because
Yep, in 4K it was nice.
we've already talked about like the fetishizing of Jennifer Tilly's body, and
Hmm.
she is the femme fatale here, so it makes sense. She's necessary. But I really like that you don't see Corky until they're sexing, and I really love that reveal. How it kind of starts on their bodies, but you don't know what you're looking at, and it has that big turnaround in that single take, and then it finally reveals Corky's face, Gina Gershwin's face, while she's orgasming, like
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a
at her
lot of great
climax.
moments like that. It's always giving you an interesting
Uh
way to
huh.
look at it. I mean, that's where the Hitchcock comparison really comes in. Like, I always think of that opening shot of Vertigo, where you see the ladder, it's very up close, but you don't know what you're looking at, and then it pulls away, and then it's
Hmm.
very clear. Like, that's the opening shot of this movie. That's the shot that you just talked about. There's so many other examples throughout, and like, yeah, there's just a lot of Hitchcock in there, and I love seeing that in a
Yeah,
in a fairly modern way.
the second time around, I still don't really understand how this opens. That like the title sequence is awesome, the way that the
Yes.
shadows are used to spell
Yes.
out the title, but the actual opening where it's kind of like in a closet, and then you have voiceover narration of like sound bites that are happening in the future. It's almost like a flash forward. It doesn't set. It sets the mood, but I still don't really understand it. It's kind of weird for me, just
No, I want to
because
go back
there
and look at that shot.
there's it's a really great shot, and there's another flash forward a little bit later on in the film, but it feels really just contextually kind of weird. Kind of breaks the rules of the genre, but it's not. It's okay. Like I think those sound bites kind of help, especially with a rewatch, because you know what they're actually talking about. But I think it's a little bit confusing to start a film in this genre in that way. And maybe that's them making it neo like that. It's not an actual noir.
Hmm.
It's a modern day. For once, there's no rain in this movie, which
No,
is kind of weird.
no, I mean, in so many ways, they do not follow the norms. I mean, for like the femme fatale, that's the person that's supposed to screw over the hero at the end of the day. Here, that's not the case, and
Well, like
there's it's also the obvious
it's
one being
part
that there's
that
two women.
It's part that, but I usually see the femme fatale as just the woman who gets the protagonist into the scheme to begin with. I think the screwing over is another step in that archetype, but it's
Hmm.
just you wouldn't have done the bad deed if this lady didn't seduce you, and that still happens
No,
here.
but there still is like it does feel like it's more coming from an honest place as opposed to the
Yeah,
femme
just
fatale
get
manipulating
yeah
someone
get rich
for
quick.
just her own purposes.
I really love the production design here.
Oh yeah.
es- Especially in the apartment, the main apartment, and how that really contrasts with what Corky's doing in the one next door. With how, even though she's renovating it and making it look standard, how kind of general and kind of boring that is compared to where Caesar and Violet live. You
Hmm.
have this like Art Deco black and white with with all the couches and the bar, and it looks a certain way. It looks like you're right out of a GQ magazine, and it
Except
comes
it
down to
still looks
clothes.
pretty dull and gray though.
Yeah, well, I think it's to give you a certain kind of color palette to kind
Hmm.
of mirror a black and white movie while still being in color. Like what they're doing with light too, but just even in terms of clothes, you look at what Caesar and Violet are wearing. You know, they're like out on the town, like evening dresses, like very revealing. And then you look at Corky, and she's wearing a wife beater and just dirt on her pants and combat boots. Like she's very much so just dressed like average Joe, nothing to do. I'm a handyman. And that contrast, and you don't get it just in what they're wearing and where they're living, but also in their personalities. You know, it's like a line that comes up a couple of times where they're talking about Corky and how she must be good with her hands. And it's really funny because, it's built up for like the story about Violet's dad, and then also she's a handyman, so it makes sense with her work. But then when you go through it a little bit more and more, it's like, yes, obviously there's the sex joke there, and that's where the irony is. And when that line's delivered, but it's like, well, she's also good at picking locks, and you learn more about her. You're like, and she's a thief, and you get all these things. You're like, wow, she really must be good with her hands, and that's the kind of stuff I liked about this movie, especially on the second go through it. It's like those little nuanced lines that mean more than they should, but you
Yeah.
don't realize it unless you start thinking about it, and that's the sign of a good screenplay.
No, it's like it's such a very, very, very just simple thriller, like when you get down
Hmm.
to it, but it's
Yeah.
very tightly constructed and just so confidently executed that like it's still crazy that this is a debut just done at the level that it is done at, even though, yes, I think there is some studio backing, but
Yeah, it's a
like if
spelling De Laurentiis, like pretty big.
yeah, that too. But I mean, if they were starting out like today, just doing this very, very cheap and sending
Oh,
us
not
out
possible.
as a Sundance
Yeah.
film,
Nuh-uh.
I wonder if they could. I mean, because they're
Not
just
on
that.
film.
No, maybe not on film, but they could do it digitally. I mean, Jupiter Ascending and Speed Racer were shot digitally, so
Speed Racer had to be so.
yeah, yeah. No, but God, it's just like I seriously, I'm so actually no, I got one more thing. Yeah, but Don Davis, where the hell has he been?
Was that Mickey?
That's the composer for this movie. He did this, and he
Okay.
did The Matrix, which is a high-profile film, and yeah, The Matrix and its sequels. And he's kind of just been nowhere since then. I think he's just I don't know. It's a couple episodes of CSI that you'll find on IMDb. Before then, it's a bunch of
Hmm.
TV stuff. Where the hell did he go? Because I mean, like
Yeah,
The Matrix has a very iconic,
very techy, very grungy, like
yeah, very score.
industrial sound.
But you can
Whereas,
hear those sounds here, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, I get pumped up when I hear that score, and I'm just like, where the hell is he?
well, I mean, you also get like the jazz score here, that smooth
Hmm.
jazz, where you're like, wow, like I'm really in it right now. You kind of just want to like snap along and like light a cigarette and like, yeah, I'll go to that dyke bar with Corky. Uh, Speaking of which, that smooth jazz that plays when you have the close up of their lips, that extreme close up of them, like they're just talking, but it's still so sexy after that first sex scene. But yeah, the music it's really perfect there. It does, like, even though it's not as iconic as something as The Matrix, um, something you can't mimic unless you got a dial tone, I guess. Did you catch that shot? I mean, of course you saw it, but when they make the phone call and it does like a very like pre-Matrix-esque camera follow on the phone, like dialing the phone,
Hmm.
tracking the cord, going through the wall, and
It
then it
had
even
a
does,
similar Matrix feel,
yeah, it does
but
that little loop around it. It's like, well, this doesn't seem any different than waiting for an operator to get out of the Matrix. Like it
uh-huh.
has a similar, just the like it's like you're living inside the technology in that moment.
No, I mean, if the
Real fun, just
DI
real
did like,
stylized.
yeah, if the
Yo
DI did
Pope.
like a green color palette of this movie, then
Yo
it
Pope.
it would basically be the same exact looking film as The Matrix. Basically, I mean, but yeah, no, that's not a knock. That's just an observation.
Hmm. Did you? I know this is a thing for you, and maybe it's less so here. But what was your opinion of the slow mo?
What for the Wachowskis?
Yeah, they have that
Maybe
that
I
shoot up in the middle here where everything goes to shit, and then Caesar,
see.
after he kills everyone, he's still pulling the trigger. Click,
All right,
click,
first of all,
click,
like
click.
I am a fan of slow mo because it does provide that look interesting in a way. Like, especially when the bullet just hits that glass on that painting, just the moment that it hits that and he's
Hmm.
still standing there, like just the shock of that, like, imagining that playing in real time. Like I thought that was really cool to look at. My problem with high speed now is that it's kind of just because it's so easy to do, it's kind of just done for the sake of it. And then when you're doing slow mo, like I should have something interesting to look at. There should be a reason to slow the moment down, because you're just dragging things on for a little bit in the moment, and that's just presenting pacing issues. And that's my issue with it, is when it feels like it's dragging, or I don't know. Like, what was the most recent one I complained about? No Escape, which also had like this very intense, very very real and harrowing scene, and then all of a sudden like a child gets thrown across the roof and they slow it down and you see all the contortions on that kid's face as they're screaming. It's just like you just
Just,
fucked up a very
just
very intense moment there.
I know he's your guy, but you can call it the Michael Bay effect. Like, I think he's kind of the person that really pioneered slow-mo
Oh
as
yeah, no,
just
he's
a traditional action trope, and now everyone uses it,
yeah,
even
no, for sure.
Keanu.
And even, I mean, even Michael Bay, like honestly,
Hmm.
now that once Michael Bay got the Phantom camera is the worst thing that ever happened to him, because like as much as I love Pain and Gain, there are shots where it's just like, now he can hold on to slow mo a little bit longer, and the frame rate is, I think, higher. It's just that I don't like slow mo when it's shot digitally, because it looks like it's on video. There could be a difference there, like, because just in movement it seems like it's too slick digitally.
Maybe. Well, I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know,
what the difference
but
is when you're doing slow-mo and digital camera, it's faking it.
mhm.
It's literally like on film, you shoot more, you play it back,
Yeah, you
faster.
can shoot on the
Uh,
photosonics on film at 1,000 frames per second. Like
like,
that's how Inception did it.
I'm just saying, like on actual film, there's like actually a thought process in how you speed up or slow mo. Whereas on when you do it digitally, it's cheating. It is actually just taking more frames, doing it right then, so it doesn't look as fluid. Um, I have like one gripe with this movie, and since we're at the end of the review, it makes sense to talk about it. I don't like the ending. I kind of liked it the first time. I think the Tom Jones song goes a long way, but it just when
Like
you
when
take
you
it
say
with
ending, like ending.
the ending, yeah, the girls driving away, everything being good, the happy ending, it doesn't seem authentic. When you got the rest of the movie, how worried everyone is about the mob and making everything work and getting the money and getting away, how pretty a bow it ends with oh, Caesar, he's on the run even though he's gone, and Mickey believes me because I kissed him, and you got a new truck somehow in the last 5 minutes, and it looks exactly like your last truck except it's new now. I just I wish it was a more sour note. I wish it was more sanguine, that it was realistic instead of the girl gets the girl, they get the money, they get a getaway. It's I
Well,
don't
I
know.
don't know, keeping the time and context, but I could also seeing this with the crowd, like this left a bunch of people just feeling great. So when you have something that's, I think, that much intense of a thriller, and that you're just that
Hmm.
into it, I mean, and it's just got that much energy to it. Like, yeah, it's great that people walked out feeling that was a really fucking badass movie. But I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily implausible in this case. Like, yes,
No,
when you
yeah.
really think about it, but in that moment, and also just as far as what we are accustomed to seeing, like I think it's I can totally see how those guys would not think that Violet was bright enough to pull off a plan like that. And also, I mean, they set up those threads pretty well so that it looked like that Joey Pants really ran away with it. I mean, unless if you really want me to nitpick, I'm sure if I went
No,
back
it's
and deconstructed the whole thing. But in that moment, it's like, no, that actually really seems, it felt like a very carefully laid out plan, and it worked out for me, and it felt like that ending was earned for the characters.
I mean, it's just another run at the same gag that's done earlier, like when Corky and Violet are having their first sex scene,
Hmm.
and Joey busts in on him. And he's like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And he's like, "What is this?" And then he's like, "Oh, it's so fucking dark in here. I didn't know." And he just laughs it off. He's like, "What would I be afraid of a girl for? Like, you can't be fucking my lady. Like, I can't be." And then he does it again. He's like, "I can't be getting fucked over by you." And it's probably the same joke at the end. It's like, what would we have to fear with her going into the truck with some lady? It doesn't matter. Like, it's two girls together.
Well, the fact
That's
that
not
you
a real
have
thing.
the fact that you got to win for two girls, I also think that's a big deal because if this movie was made in the 40s, then I mean,
I'm sure there's a movie like this from the 40s.
yeah, no, but I'm just saying if they did it, then they would have killed them at the end because it would just be a subconscious way of telling the audience, hey, lesbianism, that's not the way. Like, this movie, full, if you want to look really deep into it, then yeah, it does support that relationship at that end. If it didn't, then it probably would have taken the route of killing them, or I don't know, or you could read that a different bunch of different ways if they died of how sad it is that two women can't run away happy together, and that's I don't know, like it's just you get my point, right? Is that because we
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were in that class, there's all sorts of things that were perceived as norms in classic Hollywood, like regarding of race or gender, that if a woman tried to do something, especially in a film noir, then no, she got in trouble. She got busted. She was killed, or she went to jail. So this is kind of, I want to say, just a subversion of that, and I have no issue with that
Not
at
an
all.
issue. Just listen. With the tone of the movie and where things go, a happy ending isn't the most sensible thing to me. But I don't have a problem with it. It's like you said. It does after so much tension, after
Yeah,
so much suspense. It is a really good payoff, and it's like, oh, it was
it's
all worth it for this moment, for them to be happy,
exactly no,
even
like
though
it's a
they
crazy
barely know
ride,
each
and
other.
then yeah, no, it's an insane ride, and then you get there, and it's like, okay, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that was a hell of an experience. I mean, and I mean, yeah, this is one of those cases for me where it's just like I'm really glad that I can still have a theatrical experience of something that is 20 years old and it still feels new. And I mean, this movie is not dated in any way. It really
No cell
isn't. I mean,
phones.
and that's
If there were
like
cell
no, the
phones,
the
this
absence
movie
of
would be
cell
a lot
phones.
different.
The absence of cell phones, I don't know. You can forget it. I mean, most movies today, like either they talk about what's on their phone, or I
No,
don't
I'm
know. I
just
mean,
saying.
did Civil War even have cell phones?
Yeah, yeah. Black Widow has some like weird cell phone, but
Okay, and Iron Man has one. Yeah, that's
and
right.
so does Captain America. But the fact that phone conversation is so important in this movie in terms of a plot device,
Hmm.
and most noir for that matter, that if there were cell phones, if this was a modern day, just the scheme wouldn't have worked. Like there wouldn't have been, oh, they got in an accident in their car and that's not why they're here. They would
Hmm.
have called directly and said, "Hey, we got fucked up. We're at the hospital." Like a movie. It's and because of that, it's still it's a time capsule. It's a noir film. It fits in to that genre. It fits in because this doesn't feel like a movie from the '90s. It feels like it's closer to something from the '40s or '50s, just with a more contemporary feel to it, a more modern look. But yeah, I think that's. I'm so curious to see how noir can make a comeback if it does, because I mentioned Zootopia kind of fitting into that same genre. It is a mystery. We have some like Girl on the Train, which I know is contemporary. There's Gone Girl, which uses tabloids and the media to great advantage, and it is something that I don't know. I'm just curious about. I want to track, but like I said, finishing this one, I'm guessing you'd buy this one for $1.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean
Yeah,
like that is the best thing the best praise I have for it. If you want to quote me on a line, is this is one of the top three greatest debuts I have ever seen from any filmmaker.
it's high praise. Yeah, I'd buy this one for $1 still. Like I said, I wish I had a longer window before my rewatch. Um, but maybe you could grab some of the audio from the 2 cents and throw it on here too. It was
It's a
very.
lot of work.
It's the timestamp's an
All
hour
right.
and 40 minutes. It's like exactly 140. Um, but yeah, definitely check this one out if you haven't, especially if you're a fan of the Wachowski sibling starship, whatever they are now, sisters,
I
I
don't know. I
guess.
think Jupiter Ascending was just the Wachowskis.
That's probably what's gonna be. It's just gonna just
We'll
that.
see.
It
I don't
might
know.
be
Maybe
siblings though.
they'll. Maybe if I don't know. Maybe it'll say more about culture if we grow into it and become more accepting of that. Or Honestly, really, they can do whatever they want. I
It'd be
mean,
cool if they said sisters.
yeah, no, it's like if
I
they
think
do, then
that's
there will
the
probably be
logical
some
step.
people. Yeah, it's like once that happens, once that's official, then it might take some people to adjust, and then before you know it, then they'll just kind of respond to it as like, okay, that's the Wachowski sisters. I mean, that's fine. They're doing big things for movies as well as for the LGBT community. So
It would be funny as a film scholar in the future if they do begin making things as sisters to, compare and contrast their brothers' films from their sisters' film later on in their career. Because I guess Sense8 is kind of the in between, which I still
yeah,
haven't
I'm
seen.
very curious to check that out now.
Yeah,
Like
I've
now
been
that I've
wanting to.
officially seen all their movies, and it's just really just see Bound. More people need to see Bound.
Bound to fall in love.
Uh-huh, honey.
Thanks for listening. We hope it's been a pleasure. If you like this show and you want to hear more of our wonderful voices on a weekly basis, check out 2 Cents. I'll recap what's happened in film, TV, and tech news.
We're also on the titular Dollar Review Show, a spoiler-free critique of new releases or anything we've discovered on our own, whether that be TV, music, etc.
You can find all of our content at dollarreviews.net. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook at Dollar Reviews.
We're available on iTunes, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, and constantly looking to expand to other platforms.
If you listen somewhere we're currently not available, you'd like to contribute some talking points, send a Death to Cinema request, or if you just want to laugh at us, you can do so by reaching out to us on social media or send an email to brian@dollarreviews.net.
Or you can email me as well, steve@dollarreviews.net.
You can follow me personally on Twitter at Brian Gillis, that's BRYONGILLIS, and now you know how to spell the email too, and also under the same name on the lovely site Letterboxd, which acts as my film diary, where I rate films I'm watching, write the occasional review, and even sometimes compile lists.
You can also find me on Twitter at S_MTX, and also follow my film diary at Letterboxd under the same name, where I log everything I watch, and sometimes write brief reviews.
That's it for this week. Until next time, keep the change.
Uh-huh, honey.
Close your eyes and let the word paint a
I saw something in similar territory also this week. I saw the Wachowski siblings' first film, Bound. I don't know if it was the first time I'd seen it. I thought, like, I'd never seen it. Maybe I just saw clips before and stuff. Definitely, I know that it's used and this film's not yet rated. I saw it on YouTube. It's free. It's one of the films that the Paramount Vault has uploaded. A lot of stuff's on there. Like Paris When It Sizzles. I can't think of anything else right now. I think like He-Man, Masters of the Universe, a couple other things. But yeah, anyone can go see this for free on YouTube. Really interesting. Like they wrote and directed it. Stars Gene Gershwin and Jennifer Tilly. Really good modern noir, like neo-noir. It's kind of renowned for being one of the few films that has a lesbian love story that isn't like fantasized, or anything like that. And it helps that Lana Wachowski is a transgender woman. So that's just coincidence that I'm doing back-to-back films here on this, but I definitely would check it out. It was on Netflix a while ago. Like I said, now it's on YouTube. I would buy this one for $1. It's interesting to see how they went from this, and then their next film was The Matrix 3 years later.
I mean, this was their debut, right?
Yeah, like they wrote.
That's insane that their sophomore effort
Yeah.
is The Matrix,
Yeah,
which they were able to get that
They
made.
they like wrote some movie that Sylvester Stallone I think stars in, but like they changed everything at the studio and they tried to get their names off of it. But yeah, like just how far away that this is from The Matrix, and just not just story, like camera wise, like there's some similar things. Obviously, there's no like kung fu happening, but like just it has that title Bound. And at first, I thought it had something to do with S&M. No, that's a misnomer. Even though there are people tied up because it is a noir film. But definitely check it out. Like fun crime thriller that is like very low budget, but still like pretty powerful.